Hi, I'm Jessica. Today I decided to do my video analysis over the Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. And I wanted to talk about the narrator and how the narrator affects the story. In the story, we have an unreliable narrator. And as you know, an unreliable narrator is coming from a point of view of a person who is kind of deceptive or deranged or doesn't really know what is going on. And that's going to affect the facts that they bring to the reader because they may not be completely and totally true, but they may believe that they are completely and totally true. In the story, the narrator isn't truly known, but towards the end, it brings up a name called Jane, and it's believed that the narrator could be called Jane, but they really don't know. So it just kind of goes as an unknown narrator. The point in the story that bring an unreliable narrator to mind is, in the beginning, she says, "You see, he does not believe I am sick, and what can one do?" Her husband, John, is a doctor, and he is taking care of her, and normally when you're sick and you go to the doctor, you don't have to convince the doctor that you're sick. But he doesn't believe that she is truly sick, and she's thinking, oh, I'm so sick, and she doesn't really know what's going on, in a sense, because a normal person wouldn't have to convince somebody that they're sick. So that kind of brings up the first flag of, is this narrator truly somebody that we can trust, or is it maybe not such a great narrator? The second point that is shown in the story is she hides her writing from John and Jenny because John and Jenny believe that her writing is just going to worsen her condition, and she is deceptive and doesn't want them to see that, which is part of an unreliable narrator. If you look, it says, "There comes John, and I must put this away. He hates to have me write a word." So, she's kind of hiding her writing from him. And then later on it says, "We have been here 2 weeks, and I haven't felt like writing before since that first day. I'm sitting by the window now, up in this atrocious nursery, and there is nothing to hinder my writing, so as much as I please, save the lack of strength." Because at that point in the story, John is gone, and Jenny doesn't really bother her throughout the day, so she's kind of free to do what she wants, but she still is hiding it from them. Just kind of like if you were to be writing a little diary, you wouldn't go to everybody and say, "Oh, look, here's this," and then you were to publish it and hide it from it. Like, when you were writing it, you hid it from everybody. You're kind of deceiving them and telling them, "Oh yeah, no, I'm not making a diary. This isn't true." She's kind of hiding it from him, which is part of an unreliable narrator. One of the main points that shows that she's an unreliable narrator is in the very end. She locks herself in the room and locks John out. And it's really kind of creepy towards the end, and she locks out John, and she is freeing the woman who is trapped in the wallpaper that she has seen. And it's really kind of creepy because it says here, "I can creep smoothly on the floor, and my shoulder just fits along in that long smooch around the wall, so I cannot lose my way." And she's peeling off. It's so pleasant to be out in this great room and creep around as I please. And she's peeling off the paper in which is trapped this imaginary woman in her mind, and she peels off all the paper she could reach, standing on the floor, and all those strangled heads and bulbous eyes and waddling fungus growths just shriek with derision. It's really creepy how she talks about it. And one way that I understood, the way I learned to understand what an unreliable narrator was if you think about it, if you're going into surgery, you want to have the most qualified surgeon who graduated with high honors, graduated top of his class from med school, knows everything. Well, the unreliable narrator is kind of like a surgeon who just barely passed, just barely did enough to get by to become a surgeon. And they don't really know a lot about what they're doing, and what they may know may not even be right. And so an unreliable narrator is kind of like that surgeon, where they're telling you stuff and they're doing stuff, but they may not know if it's really true. And that's one of the parts of the story that I found really intriguing, was the narrator, and how it's very unreliable, because I've never seen an unreliable narrator. So it was really kind of neat to learn about an unreliable narrator. Well, I think that's all I have to say about an unreliable narrator. So until our next video analysis, goodbye.